the Iranian Railroad for Queer Refugees, and they're going to explain more to you about that and some other issues related to gay rights in Canada and internationally. So please help me welcome them.
Good morning, everybody. So it appears that we're doing stand-up today. I wasn't ready for that. My name is Hussein. First of all, I would like to thank the school and Miss Brandon for inviting us here today. My good friend Arsham, the executive director of IRQR, was supposed to be here with us today, but is in Turkey right now dealing with some refugee cases. So we wish him best of luck there. Just a few notes. I know that you guys should be taking notes for your school purposes, so I won't be sure that it's a term that you might not know. I'll repeat it, so don't worry about it again. At the end of the session, the pieces of paper you have, feel free to write anything. I don't know, you have a comment, you have a question, you want to draw a smiley face, doesn't matter, anything. Just, I would appreciate getting a piece of paper from each and every one of you to know how many people attended and what they thought or felt about this session. So please do return them to us. I'll hand it over.
Thank you. Okay. How's everybody doing? My name is Yegi. I'm also a volunteer for the Iranian Railroad for Queer Refugees. I want to start by telling you a little bit about what we do. The Iranian Railroad for Queer Refugees is a non-for-profit organization. We are funded by the government, and what we do is we help gay and lesbian Iranians or queer Iranians who get out of the country for fear of persecution. We help them through the process. Now how this works is a lot of them go to different countries, and what we do there is they go to UN, and we help them through the process by financial means from our funding. And the other thing we do is basically when they come here, for example, one of the things that I might do is I go around helping them with housing, healthcare, that type of thing. And for instance, we had this case with this couple named Mahtab and Saleh. They were one of them was a transgender woman, transsexual woman, and they were being prosecuted in Iran, and they were fearing for their lives because of their families. They were in Turkey, and what we did, we helped them get sponsorship to come here, and now they got accepted and they're here. Like, that's just a sample of what we do. And I'm gonna let Hussein talk a little bit about the history of IRQR, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my own experiences.
Perfect. So, for those of you who might want to know what my personal background is, I moved to Canada in 2006. Can't believe it's been 5 years already. And I did my undergraduate degree in Middle Eastern Studies at University of Toronto, and fingers crossed, I'm applying to grad school in International Studies, so wish me luck on that. My work with IRQR started when I moved here, and I met Arsham. And I've been trying to offer my support and help on and off over the past few years, and in August I officially starting August, I sit on the board of directors of the organization, and I'm hoping to dedicate more of my time and help more. So like I said, I moved in 2006, and my case was not a refugee case, so I moved here with my family to study, and I didn't personally experience any persecution in Iran, or I wasn't necessarily threatened, although when there's laws discriminating in your rights, you are threatened. But I did not leave Iran with the fear of death, personally. So I'm not going to tell you any personal stories on that case, but I have tons of other stories of my friends and colleagues and people who have assisted through IRQR. Just to tell you why we exist. We live in a country that's secular, that's free. There's such a thing called as the Human Rights Act that supports people with any gender, religion, ethnicity, cultural background, and does not differentiate between men and women, and you're equal. But in many other parts of the world, namely my country, Iran, that is not the case. First of all, the country is not secular, it's religious. And the type of jurisdiction that we have, again, it's not the same as here. It's a religious law called the Sharia. So the way the government functions, the way the courts function, it's all according to the regulations and rules of Islam, and particularly the understanding of Islam that the government of Iran has. So what Iran does and what people in Iran go through is not necessarily what all other Islamic countries do as well. It is particular to Iran in many cases. And specifically regarding the case of LGBTQ communities in Iran, Iran is among the 7 countries in the world that punishes homosexuality by death. And I was initially going to bring you guys a PowerPoint presentation that I have done at U of T before, but some of the images are just so troubling that I didn't want to bother you guys showing them to you, although they're available online. So feel free to go and look for LGBT rights in Iran and beware of what you might see. So, according to the Iranian Penal Code, homosexuality is a violation of the supreme will of God. So that's how they look at it. They don't look at it as a civil matter. They look at it as when you're gay, when you come out, you're putting yourself against God, and because the criminal code in Iran is based on the Sharia law or the Islamic law, that's punishable. And so based on this understanding of homosexuality as a violation of God's supreme will, the Iranian government does not recognize homosexuality whatsoever. So in the Iranian society, everybody is seen as heterosexual. A marriage is understood as a union between a man and a woman, and anything that is by any means different from that is not accepted. Furthermore, in regards to heterosexual marriages, any relationship or any sexual conduct prior to marriage or with anybody but your spouse after your marriage is also punishable. And the punishments are ridiculously laid out. In 2007, I'm sure some of you have either watched or heard about the president of Iran. And watch, I'm not saying my president, I'm saying the president of Iran. Was in Columbia University. He's been going to New York every year to attend the United Nations. And he was invited to Columbia University, and one of the audience asked him about the situation of women and gay people in Iran, and he or she, I'm not sure, brought up that a gay couple were hung in Iran. And this guy stands up, gives one of these ridiculous smiles and says, "We don't have gays in Iran." So it's not only the jurisdiction that denies our rights, it's not only the society that harasses us and does not accept us the way we are, but it's the president, the face of the country, that stands up in the States next to, very close to the United Nations, and says that there are no gays in Iran. And I think that's pretty much self-explanatory.